Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I am your host Ant, and this week we're gonna have a little music news, and we're gonna talk about new releases that have come out, some re-releases, and we're gonna celebrate me. Woohoo! Believe it or not, had this channel on YouTube for an entire year, and this actually starts season 2. The summer ends, fall begins, and now we're into year 2 of Ant on Music. I'm really thrilled that I've been doing this for a year. I hope you guys are enjoying it. As I always ask, if you're new here, welcome. Click that subscribe button, very, very please. Very important to me. Also, drop a thumbs up, drop a comment. Love the conversations I have with everybody week after week. It's a lot of fun. Give you an idea of what's going to be coming up in the next season. So, for the fall season, we're going to be looking at obviously a lot of new releases. As I like to call this is box set season, because between now and the run up to the end of the year with the holidays, there are a lot of box sets that get released, and I'm sure I'm going to do my best to get my grubby little hands on as many of them as I deem fit, and I'll be more than happy to share them with you all here. Also, in the fall you get a lot of new releases. Albums come out by the ton. You have your run up to summer, and you have your big summer songs for really for pop, and then you have the albums that come out in the fall for going back to school. College kids go back, and there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out at this time of the year, and I'm really excited to share what I pick up with you, and also go through some older things as well that I have here in my collection. So without further ado, let's all get on board, because one of the acts we're going to look at this week is Big Train. But before we get to them, all right, going to take a look at a nice anniversary edition here. This just came out. On one of the earlier episodes this year, I showed you the anniversary edition for So Much for the Afterglow by Everclear. And this is the latest re-release from them. Okay, Songs for American Movie, Part 1, Learning How to Live, Learning How to Smile. And, this is put out by Intervention Records. Okay, hype sticker comes on the bag itself, and it's the 25th anniversary edition, and I really dig this album. I'm a big fan of Everclear. As far as like the 90s bands go, they were one of the most consistent ones as far as hits mattered. Not that that matters to me. If they have hits, great. If they don't, I don't care. If I dig the music, I dig the music. It's that simple. All hits are to me just means more people dig it. That's all. Means nothing. So we'll take a look at this. Got the front cover right there with the original version, or the classic version of Everclear, with Art Alexakis, Craig Montoya, and Greg Eklund. Basically, Art is the songwriter here, main songwriter, and you've got Craig on bass and Greg on drums and some other percussion instruments as well. He also plays ukulele on this album, and he also takes lead vocals on one of the songs, the Honeymoon song as well. So let's take a look inside. All right, pretty much mimics what was in the original CD packaging, which I have had that since it was released, and this is the first time this has been on vinyl, and it's a really nice heavy-duty package here. The cardboard is, it's not flimsy. And inside this sleeve of the gatefold, you have, once again, the album cover. Another photo of the band there. And this contains all the lyrics right there, as well as all the production notes for the album as well. There's more of the lyrics. And that's that. And the vinyl's very cool looking. We'll talk about this in a bit. It's in a clear sleeve, and it's this transparent, almost like lemon yellow, and it's on Intervention Records with the permission of Capitol Records, the owner of the album. And as far as the songs go, all right, this is one of my favorite albums by Everclear. They they have been around for a long time now. It's pretty much Art and Sidemen. But this one kicks off with a little intro piece called Songs from American Movie Part 1. Then you have Here We Go Again, which has a sample of Chuck D in the background. AM Radio, great song. You want to talk about going back and reliving your childhood. AM Radio is basically, Art reliving his, and for those of us of a certain age, kind of reliving some of ours as well, referring to the technology at that time, that point in time, as well as what it was like to grow up in the 70s. Cover of Brown Eyed Girl, they put their stamp on this classic, which is a Van Morrison classic. Learning How to Smile, the title track, another good song. Honeymoon Song, as I said, done by Greg, sung by Greg. Now That It's Over, a great breakup song. Thrift Store Chair, another great one. Otis Redding, Unemployed Boyfriend, one of my favorites. And that's where a little bit of music news comes in. If you know the song Unemployed Boyfriend, you notice towards the end, the girl that does some of the speaking on the track mentions that this guy she met, who we assume is Art, is really kind of cute in an intense way, kind of like Perry Farrell. Well, if you've been watching, the websites, reading the news, what have you, as far as music goes, you've heard Jane's addiction has imploded. Apparently, Perry Farrell's been struggling with something. Not going to say what, don't know, so I won't say. But basically, it boiled over to him basically having a fight with Dave Navarro on stage. He punched him on stage a couple of weeks back. Actually, last Thursday or Friday, which caused them to first cancel the next date, which was going to be in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I was thinking of getting tickets. I'm glad I didn't, because they canceled that show and then subsequently canceled the tour. Worst part is that Jane's has new material coming out, and according to Dave Navarro, it doesn't sound like anybody's going to get a chance to hear it live. Hopefully, they get the album out, and hopefully, somewhere along the line, Perry gets help and they make some amends with his bandmates and they can hit the road again. One can only hope. So Unemployed Boyfriend. Then you've got the big single off this one, wonderful, great tune, and Annabella's Song. Annabella's Song is a very sweet song. Excellent orchestration on it, strings, woodwinds, you name it. And it's a song that Art wrote for his daughter, and it really is quite a touching song. If you've never heard it, check it out. If you've never heard this album, check it out. If you've never heard Everclear, this isn't a bad place to start. So is that. This is like the middle of my three favorite albums, starting with So Much for the Afterglow, continuing on to this, and then finishing up with Songs from American Movie Volume 2, Learning How to Live. This one is Volume 1, Learning How to Smile. And, great tune. And this is a numbered release, and I've got number 1866. I wish I could remember how many they're releasing of this, but hey, is what it is. So that covers our punky pop, grungy, northeast, northwest, SoCal sort of music. They're kind of a little bit of everything there. As I say, one of the songs, Everything to Everyone. So that's that. Intervention Records, check it out, buy it if you dig it. If you don't, check it out. You might dig it, and you got my recommendation on it. What more do you want? So now we go into the part that scares everybody when I talk about, not only prog, but new prog. Oh my God, it's not even the classic stuff. Well, this is about as new gets. I'll show you the hype stickers right here. We're talking about the big train, the International Prog Collective, known as Big Train. And I say International Collective because they truly are an international band. They have members from the US with Nick DiVirgilio, who does vocals and does drums and percussion. And then you have a majority of the band, which is from like the UK, and their leader, Greg Spaughton. And also, now you have the latest edition, as of their latest album that came out earlier this year, The Likes of Us, with former PFM, all right, which is the premier Italian prog band, their singer, Alberto Bravin. And this lovely album is on transparent red vinyl. So we're going to take a look at that. The name of the album is called A Flare on the Lens. And this right here is a live album from live. It was live at Cadogan Hall in England, in London, England. And it's called A Flare on the Lens, live in London. Cadogan Hall, if you're familiar with Marillion, one of my all-time favorites, they have an album that they did at Christmas time a few years back called Marillion, live at Cadogan Hall. Excellent. Pick it up. Check them out. Definitely worth it. So, let's take a look at this. We've got the front and back we showed you. Here's the gatefold with lots of photos from that evening. And they are a massive collective of a band, because not only do they perform under, their main band members, but they add, horn section, you name it, they're phenomenal. So what we have here is pictures of the band and thank yous, and right dead center there is a gentleman I forgot. How could I forget Rickard? Rickard Sobam from Beardfish, who was also part of the Prague collective known as Big Big Train. Rickard is from Sweden, and he is the leader of Beardfish, who has a new album coming out. I spoke about Beardfish in an earlier episode just a couple of weeks back. If you're unfamiliar with them, you may want to head on back and check that out as well. Don't be afraid. It's new. It's good. All right. It's not that new. They've been around 10, 15 years. And here we got some liner notes here as the players who was on this album. Of course, you have the main players, which is Alberto on lead vocals, guitar, and keys. Nick, as I mentioned, on drums, vocals, and guitar. Oscar Holdorf on keys and vocals. Claire Lindley on violin and vocals. Rickard on guitars, keys, and vocals. And Master Greg Spaughton, bass pedals, and 12-string guitar. Yeah, that's a mouthful. With Maria Barbieri on guitars, and the Big Big Train brass ensemble of Dave Desmond on trombone and mellotron, Dana Egan on French horn, Nick Mott on trumpets, and Mike Posar on tuba. Yes, the album has tuba on it. All right, so let's take a look at this. And then we're going to look at the track listing, not from this, but from the CD. And I'll tell you why. Look at this, transparent red. Very, very nice, very pretty. All right. Now, I prefer at this point getting vinyl. I have, as you can tell, a ton of CDs. Vinyl, the medium, I love it because, you get a better look at everything. People tell you one sounds better than the other. I think it depends. For me, though, and this was the one disappointment. Now, these guys are through Inside Out Music. All right. Now, Inside Out is also owned by Sony. And in the past, when you've come to have Sony Music put out stuff like the Rickard solo albums, all right, where they've released a couple of those, or the re-releases on the Flower Kings, they've given you the CDs. They didn't do that with this Big Big Train release, okay? They made this, a double album, and it's only got 3, 6, 9, 11 tracks on it, okay? It's not the complete concert. All right, so what did I have to do? Well, I had to get this, the CD DVD set. All right, CD DVD set has the full concert on it, and we'll show you this quickly in here. All the panels there, with the last panel being the DVD. I believe did I buy the Blu-ray? I'm not sure. Yeah, got the Blu-ray on it. So you have everything there, plus the Blu-ray, which is nice to have. Get to watch the concert as well as listen to it. And this has the full concert film in surround sound, which is really nice. I haven't had a chance to watch, but I have been listening to the album, and it's really good. I gotta admit, being part of the Big Big Train, group of fans, as they're called, the Passengers, I came to the band when David Longden came along, and for me, it's almost impossible shoes to fill. David was a master arranger, a phenomenal vocalist, multi-instrumentalist, and he was, became the face of the band, obviously being the front man, and also in a lot of ways became the heart and soul of it. And I can't believe, but it's almost 3 years since he passed away tragically at home after a fall. Um, but the band moves on. They took the time and they got Alberto. And I will say this: it is difficult for me to listen to stuff that was originally done by David, that is now done by Alberto, but I am getting used to it. David's not coming back. Fans have got to accept that. I've got to accept it. The album, Likes of Us, that Alberto did with the band is very good. It is classic Big Big Train material if you're used to Big Big Train. And as far as the track listing goes on this, we have this little slipcase they have this in. You have Folklore, The Connection Plan, Curated Butterflies, beautiful song, Summoned by Bells, Drums and Brass, which is the drums and the brass having a go at it, Love is the Light, A Boy in the Darkness, Apollo, an acoustic melody, Leopards, Meadowlands, and Wassail. Wassail is a Christmas tune, really awesome. East Coast Racer is a classic longer track from BBT. Probably my favorite song of all time by them, Victorian Brickwork. Oblivion, Swan Hunter, Keeper of Abbey is another fantastic song. Brooklands, Hedgerow, Telling the Bees, which is another phenomenal, very emotional song. And Judas Unrepentant, which is written about an art thief, to close out the set. And, I want to watch it, but I have listened to it more than once this week, and I really, really dig it. If you haven't heard of them, my recommendation, BBT. If you're looking to start with something as far as their studio albums, I would say Folklore. Folklore is a great one. Grimm's Pound or The Underfall Yard. Fantastic stuff. All right, so something else that's new and more live. If you don't know, there is currently a version of King Crimson out there touring, but it's not under King Crimson. They're known as The Beat. And you've got Adrian Belew, all right, who was in KC for a while and Crim for a while. And he wrote a lot of good stuff with Robert Fripp. And they're out there, the band that he has going, which also has Tony Levin. Tony Levin was in that iteration of King Crimson back at the early 80s. And that's what they're touring. They're touring on the 3 albums above me. Discipline, Three of a Perfect Pair, and Beat in the middle there. And King Crimson was one of those bands that I always found very, very intimidating. Very, it's like, for some reason I couldn't wrap my head around them when I was younger. And when I got into them, it was like, oh my God, how have I not been listening to this stuff my entire life? Well, I guess good way for them to piggyback off of The Beat going out on tour, performing the 3 albums that I mentioned earlier. And the rest of the band that's out there is Tony Levin. Like I said, you've got Belew on guitar and vocals. You've got Tony Levin on stick and bass. Phenomenal musician. You have Danny Carey of Tool on drums and percussion. And Steve Vai on guitar as well. I mean, that is a killer lineup. I'm hoping I get a chance to see them when they blow through town. I haven't gotten tickets, so I don't know. But I do want to go see them. I really am curious to see how they interpret that era of King Crimson. And they have gotten the blessing of Master Robert Fripp. So I know he wouldn't let them out on the road if they weren't going to do the right thing. So that's cool. So here is the hype sticker for what I'm going to show you next. Okay? And that is this. King Crimson, Sheltering Skies. Okay? And this is a double album set from Fraser's France. Probably butchering that because I speak New York. And it's from August 27th, 1982. So pretty much at the start of this version of King Crimson. And they were originally known as the League of Gentlemen, and because Fripp wanted to get away and wanted to do something different. And of course, it always comes back to King Crim. So this one, show you the gate. The albums are basic black, nothing spectacular there, but there they are on stage. You see Tony Levin with the stick, the very Natalie dressed Adrian Belew in the center there. Off to the right, as always, seated is Mr. Robert Fripp and Bill Bruford on drums. Very eclectic group of musicians. And with this, what they did was they put out on the sleeves all the stuff that is available. And I've got probably 95% of this stuff. And the cool thing is that I've noticed from looking at this, as I sit here and listen to it, is they tell you about some upcoming stuff, which is kind of cool. So let's pull out the other sleeve because it's on this. This is all the Fripp stuff and collaborations. And at the bottom, if you look, it's stuff that's going to be coming out hopefully soon. And on the back side here, you have the Fripp solo stuff right there. Got a bunch of his stuff as well. Haven't completed all of the Fripp stuff yet. Collecting King Crimson, it's like almost like collecting a Grateful Dead. It's really tough to do. There's a ton of stuff that's out there. So you have that, and this is a great show. Kicks off with Philahunjanjeet, great tune. I love Primus's cover of it. Mata Kudasai, Indiscipline, the classic track Red by that version of King Crimson. They do an excellent job of it here. Heartbeat, which is from Beat, I believe. Sheltering Sky, love that tune. Elephant Talk, Neil and Jack and Me, Waiting Man, Lark's Tongue and Aspic Part 2, Sheltering Sky from Another Night on the same tour to fill out the album. So you've got, 2 slabs of vinyl here. This was just released this week. King Crimson, live in Frazier's, August 27th, 1982, Sheltering Skies. So let's do a box set. I haven't done a lot of the King Crimson box sets, but we'll do one here. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Just going to show it to you and show you the goodies inside because this thing is a monster. This, believe it or not, was my gateway drug into King Crimson. I'm one of those people that I don't start off small, I start off big. And you want to talk about starting off big? This monster has not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, but 19 discs, all right? 19 discs, and this is King Crimson On and Off the Road, and it's from this era that's out touring, and it's pretty cool. King Crimson 15th anniversary replica tour book. It's a picture of some of the boys in the band right there. And here are the other 2 gentlemen, Bruford and Fripp. Kind of a neat little keepsake to have that, from that era of the band. I don't know what was going on with Baloo's hair there, but it's kind of funky there. It looks like he got a bad bowl cut. Also in this package, you've got all sorts of notes that have been compiled regarding this era of the band. It's great reading material. It's really good for a laugh in a lot of ways. Other goodies in here. Tour poster. John Anderson, special guest, opening for King Crimson. How about that? Another one in here. Lots of stuff in this one. Another King Crim poster right there. And all sorts of goodies. After show pass. Access all area pass. Replica ticket. Another replica ticket. Guess what? Replica ticket. Little set list. Right there. Little program from Rock Gossip. All right. Another all access pass. And Roxy Music and King Crimson, yet another replica ticket. Promo shot of the band that was distributed to a radio station. Remember, we used to get these into the radio station all the time. And a little write-up of them from a monthly publication from Warner Brothers Records. An open invitation from Mr. Robert Fripp to check out this lineup of the band. And in addition to all these goodies, all right, it's not all. But wait. There's more. Yes, there's more. Is there more? Yes, there's more. More. So what's in the more category here? Well, in the more category, let's keep this as it was. I want to keep this the way I have it in the box. So I like to keep things neat. It's my OCD creeping in there a little bit. Is what it is. You've also got this book. All right. which goes through Fripp's diaries regarding this era of the band, which is pretty cool. And also it shows you a lot of the labels from around the world, from the various record companies that distributed King Crimson at this point. And, you know, set list, everything you'd want to know in this book, which is great. And when I'm telling you, there's a lot of CDs. These are the last four. These are the 4 bonus discs. Okay, and you have two DVDs with it, which have video and audio content on them. And actually, you have this is on here. And it is the same exact track listing that's here. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but it's nice to have it on vinyl as always. Cool thing about this box set is the CDs. Each of the CDs and DVDs have photos, front and back, and inside. I'm not going to show you everything because it's just way too much to go through. If I was just doing the box, I'd show you that. So, and you can imagine, I mean, tons and tons of stuff. So, you know, very cool box set. Like I said, this is where my King Crimson adventure started. And I'm one of those guys that'll go back. It's like, all right, I like this. Let me go back and listen to everything prior to this. And then I continue to listen to them from there on. And lucky enough to see them before they called it a day. So, excuse me. That is everything I have for you this week. King Crimson, Big Train, and Everclear. Not exactly the smoothest of pairings, but hey, it is what it is. I just want to thank everybody for stopping by, checking out the channel. If you dig what I do, you know, thanks. I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy doing this. Share it with friends. You know, you may have music heads that you know that are into something like this. Pretty much I mix it up fairly often. There's a lot of stuff. Who knows? Next week might be, you know, like something like thrash metal or, you know, new wave. You never know. I listen to a ton of stuff. But in the upcoming weeks, what are we going to do? We're going to get into some guilty pleasures. I've never done anything on my guilty pleasures. And I'm actually going to do 2 episodes on guilty pleasures in this season. One fairly soon, and then one towards the end of the calendar year, so somewhere around Christmas time. Also, going to do some more, you know, forgotten about bands. Love looking back on the forgotten about bands, and of course, the new releases and the box sets that are coming out. You know, I'll give you a hint. On one week, it's going to be some trippy stuff. Some stuff to clear the mind. You know, I always got my little Buddha hanging out back there. And we're going to get into some stuff that's a little bit off the beaten path, shall we say. But that's it for this week. I want to thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the channel, listening to me ramble on for just about a half an hour. I truly appreciate your time. I appreciate you checking out the channel. Subscribe. As I always say, one love, peace, music. I'm out.